Can't get there on my phone. Because it needs a URL.
Well,
There's no meeting code or anything.
No, nothing started yet.
Okay. Well, we can turn off the TV.
Turn off the TV.
Well, I don't see that. I think it's gonna. I don't know what it's gonna do. Maybe it's gonna.
Hello.
It's still doing setup stuff.
What?
No, this looks like the service from before.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't think. I don't think
If
it's.
I can have your attention, Steve, go ahead and begin. It was failed to ensure I have a look at her, so if she could fix that, rectify that situation. There's probably one in these rooms.
Through the stuff on the screen.
Yeah, someone to blame. Someone to blame. He's getting a book. One of the things I love most about the Episcopal Church.
Oh, it's a great. It looked like something dead underneath the thing. It's a great underneath.
I was in the back there. We almost put the guy's name on that.
You don't have us on.
Actually. And I've got nobody to talk to right up here. It's crazy. One of these days, we're going to just only put front seats. See how she's doing. Of course, I pull up on my phone, but or I could just pray like the Baptist. Oh, here we go. Great. We have one participant through Zoom in our meeting. Others may be viewing via the live stream, but if you would like to join us over Zoom, if you are a member of the church in good standing, you will have vote and voice and vote. So Diane, you can just commit your vote, your eyes through the chat if you would like. With you. Let us pray. Almighty and ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present with us who take counsel here, a good shepherd, for the renewal and mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory. Guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it. This we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. All right, great to be with you all today. We have our parish election, which we're going to do here in just a moment. We have a slate of candidates in both categories. So we have 3 people who have agreed to run for vestry, and we have 3 openings. So we're going to elect the vestry positions by voice and not by balloting. We have 6 people who are running for diocesan council, and we have 4 openings. But 2 of our folks have agreed to run as alternates, or have sought to run as alternates. And so because of that, we will have a full slate of 4 delegates and 2 alternates for diocesan council, and we will do that one also by voice. Just a reminder how our discernment process goes for vestry. The vestry begins talking about filling the vestry positions at the beginning of the summer. We then schedule 3 vestry discernment meetings where anyone who is interested in learning more about vestry or is considering running for vestry are able to come. They are open to the public, or to the congregation rather. We don't just let anyone run vestry. They're open to the congregation. Anyone can come and attend those meetings, and anyone can be considered as a candidate, so long as they meet the requirements of canon and diocesan canon, national and diocesan canon, and our own bylaws. So we have an open process, and for the last many years, we have had as many candidates as we have had spaces. There was one year where we had fewer candidates, so we postponed the election for a few months until we could get enough candidates to fill the spot, and that is just the way it is. So we're electing a slate of candidates. If ever we have, which we have had in the past, more candidates than we have positions for, then we have a balloted election. As I said earlier at the church service, I just got in last night from being in Florida for a family time where my uncle Bill died a couple of weeks ago, and we had his service Friday rather. So I got in very late last night and have not had a chance really to prepare for this meeting. So instead of the usual PowerPoint presentation with lots of pictures, we're going to kind of do it from the hip. So what I'd like to do first is invite our vestry candidates to come forward. This includes Denise Nance, who is not here. She is rodeoing or livestock showing with her kids. Okay, allow Zoom to share your screen. There we go. See what I mean? Later. There we go. Let's try that again. Here we go. Come on up, Jenny. Come on up. Just you. Okay, you'll be the only one. So Denise Nance, Aaron Scherzer, and Jenny Pickering. So come on up, Aaron and Jenny, and I'm just going to pop Denise's picture up on the screen for a second. Are we seeing? Oh yeah, they would be out there at Zoom. Come on. No, we're not getting the. Yeah, maybe we are. Come on up. Come on up. Right up here. So with Denise, Aaron, and Jenny have submitted their names as candidates for our vestry. They've been vetted according to the canons of the Episcopal Church in the Diocese of Texas. And I submit them to you as our slate of candidates for vestry. All in favor for electing Denise Nance, Jenny Pickering, and Aaron Scherzer to vestry, say aye. Any opposed? Aha, you'd be winning next year if you said yes. We've elected our slate. Congratulations, Jenny and Denise. I am very excited. Denise brings experience of having served on our vestry here at Good Shepherd in the past, and we have some new perspective and insights coming from Jenny and from Aaron. I'm very excited about that. That is good for us. My goal here at Good Shepherd, and I have said this many times, is I would like every person to serve at least one term, every qualified person to serve one term on vestry while in their time here. Oftentimes vestries have the same people running over and over and over again. We are trying to avoid having a majority of repeat runners. But of course, anyone who has run for vestry in the past is welcome to put their name in the hat also. But if you have not served this church on vestry, maybe you've served at another church, or maybe you haven't served at all. So long as you meet the requirements of the diocesan and national canon, I would really like you to consider running for vestry. So next year, when somebody asks you, consider, you do not, coming to a meeting is not a commitment to run. We typically have 2 to 3 times the number of positions that are open come to vestry discernment. And so it is not, you're not signing on the dotted line. You can come discern that this is not for you and say no. So next year, I hope that you will do that. I'm now going to ask our diocesan council delegates to come forward, including the alternates. Let me see if I can make this work. This is weird because I normally have a second screen that shows me what's going on. Our diocesan council delegates this year are Georgia Kirk, who I don't think is here today. George is not here today. David Thompson, if you're still here, you can come on up. He was having to leave. He had to leave. Rana and Grady Ferry told me that he would not be able to be here. It's a good thing we're having a proper election. Come on up, Rana. And then Dick has also agreed to run as an alternate, and Babaye is running as an alternate. Dick, come on up. We're electing you just the same. Almost every year we've had an alternate that I've been here. We've had an alternate need to step into the role. So it is important that we have a full slate of candidates. Diocesan Council happens every year around February. It is usually given a fair amount of time from when the diocesan requirement is for having an annual meeting, which is no later than the 3rd Sunday of January. So a lot of churches will elect their diocesan council delegates in January, as well as their vestry members. We do that in October, which is the earliest you can do it by diocesan canon. Each church, each parish elects 4 delegates. We elect 4 new delegates every year. Some churches in their bylaws will elect delegates to 3-year terms, and then they will rotate 1 delegate off each year. So they're electing 3 delegates, and they make the senior warden an automatic a delegate. So they have 4 delegates that way. It's an interesting concept. Maybe one day we'll consider that. But we run 4 new delegates every year. So I'm telling you all of this because, like with vestry, I would love for you to represent Good Shepherd Church at Diocesan Council sometime in your tenure here. You get to see how the diocese works a little better. You get to meet new people, your counterparts at other churches. It is a great way to get connected to the church and find out what is going on throughout the diocese. We hear reports from our treasurer and from our bishops and from foundations, and it's just a really great time. Diocesan Council, you have to take a day off work. You're going to have to, unless it's here in Houston. We're usually traveling on Friday, and there's a Eucharist. The whole diocese gets together and has communion, all the delegates and clergy. And then Saturday is when the business gets done, and we leave there by 3 o'clock on Saturday. So it's a 2-day commitment. Very much so, but I encourage you next year when we start putting out that we're looking for delegates for diocesan council that you will consider running. It is an important part of our ministry, and it's a great service and love to Good Shepherd Church. So we have for our slate of candidates for diocesan council, Georgia Kirk, David Thompson, Rana Dorn, and Grady Ferry, who are running for the diocesan council delegate positions, with Richard Dorn and Babaye running as alternates to diocesan council. All in favor of this slate of candidates, say aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for your service to our church. I am very grateful for all who have agreed to run. Did I stop sharing? I think I did. Yeah.
That makes it a little easier. There we go. Great. So I said earlier today that I just have some news to share with you, and I'm gonna get to that very quickly. So this is unusual for me, but it's going to be a very short me speaking part. At the January meeting, I challenged this congregation that we need to invest in our youth and family ministry. And at that time, we were thinking of changing this position from a quarter-time position to maybe a three-quarter time position, about 30 hours a week instead of 10 hours a week. And I gave you all the reasons why I felt like we needed to do that. And the congregation has stepped up in a big way. We had a significant increase in our pledging that year. In January, we had already had from the challenge I gave earlier in October along the same lines, a substantial increase in giving, and for that I am very grateful. But then I was just blown away by the response given in January. As a reminder, what I proposed in January is that youth and family ministry is something that we as a church need to be investing in. And that having a quarter-time person on staff to help our children, our youth become lifelong followers of Jesus just wasn't enough. And the other thing I proposed was that the way in which youth ministry has traditionally been done, the way in which I was brought up into it, and many of your kids were, was this kind of outsourced model of formation, Christian formation. And this has been true for both Sunday school and youth ministry. That is, give us your kids, and we'll give them back to you as Christians. And that, of course, has failed us, and it has failed our kids. And if it had not been the case, our churches would be full of people in their 20s and their 30s, which, as you know, is not. We're doing pretty good here at Good Shepherd, actually, but that is just a sign and a symptom the outsource model is not working. Here's the reality. If we are lucky, we get your kids for 54 hours a year. If we're lucky, and we don't get them for that much. You, the parents, the grandparents, aunts and uncles, people who care for others' children, you have them about 3,000 hours a year. And so what we need to be doing as a church is not give us your kids and we'll give them back to you. But what we should be doing is supporting you in every way that we can to raise your children to be lifelong followers of Jesus Christ. That we should be supporting you to engage the sacred stories of our faith and the sacred practices of our faith at home, so that you as a family and that your kids will have something to ground to navigate through this volatile, uncertain, chaotic, ambiguous world. And so after that mandate from the January meeting, after that strong response from Good Shepherd Church, that youth ministry is something that we would like, that we need to invest in. The vestry met with Stephanie Towns from the diocese, missioner for formation for youth and children. And she spent about 6 hours with us, or she spent about 3 hours with us, I guess. And then we spent another 3 hours hashing out all the things that she shared with us. And the conclusion that the vestry came to is what we're really talking about is a full-time position. Once we reach that full-time position, some things kick in, like mandatory medical benefits for the employee and some things like that. So the expenses were a little more than what we were talking about in January, but we have the ability to do this. What I am pleased to announce is that about 2 weeks ago, and she's just given her notice where she works currently, that we have hired a full-time youth and family minister. And I am going to find her picture and put it up here on the screen. So I meant to have this all on a PowerPoint. It was going to be great, but there really isn't room on a Spirit Airlines flight to have your laptop out. I don't know if any of you, so there is Emmy. Oh, let me show her to our YouTube and live stream folks. There is Emmy. She is a youth and family minister. She was a youth and family minister at a Methodist church. when I met with her and for the interview, we had over 80 candidates apply for the job. Of those, 4 rose to the top as really strong candidates. I interviewed 3 of those 4, and to be honest with you, I could have given the job to any of the 3 of them. But Emmy was a clear front runner in that she has the experience in a youth and family ministry position. So she has worked with kids of all ages and families of kids of all ages simultaneously in her previous job. Emmy also said all of the right things in the interview when we were talking about this transition from the outsourced model of ministry to innovating something new to support our families and raising their children in the Christian faith. She really did. She said the things that I wanted to hear. I was very excited about that. And she met with David Thompson and I. Then after that, we had a second interview where she was more interviewing us than we were her, because we were pretty sold right away. David was really impressed with her. And so with that experience, we felt, and the vestry felt comfortable going forward with Emmy on a full-time basis at a 40-hour-a-week with benefits position. She starts on November 1st. So her first Sunday with us will be November 5th, which is All Saints Sunday. That will be a time for us to meet her and greet her. So I'm very excited she is coming on board. She's written a small bio to share with us that will be in this week's weekly update. So look for that. Shares a little bit about her life and where she comes from and her background. I hope and I trust that you all will welcome her with open arms, and that you will, over the course of the next year, be very patient with us as we are working to do something new. There's not a lot of precedent. There is some, but there's not a lot of precedent for what it is that we're trying to do. And we're going to be very innovative and experimental and entrepreneurial. And some of what we do isn't going to work, especially you parents in the room. I'm going to ask that you really give Emmy your full attention and be committed to us growing youth and family ministry here at Good Shepherd. Also, our giving, we're getting ready to start our first stewardship campaign. Our expenses are going to be significantly higher this year because of this. Remember, we are going from a quarter-time position with no benefits of pension and medical to a full-time position. We are 4 times the salary, plus all of the payroll taxes that go with that, plus the medical benefits and the giving to the pension. It is a big step. I said in January, this is going to take a 3-year commitment on our part. And I hope that you give generously in this next coming year, because what we are doing is investing in our children and our future. And as I said before, what else are we in business for as a church if it's not for helping our families to raise their children to be lifelong followers of Jesus? So with that, thank you very much. I'm going to eat some tacos and celebrate with you when Emmy gets here. She'll be with us on November 5th. Thank you. Yes, we're going to share that in the weekly update.